Great to see y'all. A really exciting weekend. We finished up our first weekend of conference competition on the road. First, we played Denver on Thursday night, and then we played Oral Roberts on Saturday. We came out of the weekend 1-1, and moving forward, we're going to be at home this weekend, which will be nice. We've been on the road quite a bit recently. We've got Omaha on Thursday night at 7 p.m., and then St. Thomas Friday night at 7 p.m. as well. A nice start to conference play as Summit League conference chaos is in full swing right now with all of the teams battling against each other. And I think it's really exciting this year that there's no team in this conference that's going to be a cakewalk, but there's also no team that's a clear favorite or front runner with where we're at this far in the season. And so it's nice to see our team continuing to come together. We've had a few different bumps and bruises that have led to some different lineup changes that we've been adjusting with, but it's really nice to see our team battling for and with each other together through some really tough matches, including a nice 16-14 fifth set win against Oral Roberts, which included quite a few different career performances, whether it's Skylar Dahr or Maddie Lepetsky, who both had career highs in digs, Paige Barber, who careered as an attacker with her kills, and then Elizabeth Norris, who will be up here in a second, who had her second triple-double of the season, which now puts her top 5 in the country in triple-doubles. No surprise seeing that she did that last year, but again, just a statistical machine that comes out here and is able to perform on both sides of the ball at a really high level for us. Yeah, really excited to see our team continuing to grow together and to get closer and better at the skills that they're performing. We played a much cleaner match on Saturday as well, which is nice to see, as it's something that we've been talking about a lot. And yeah, we're excited to be at home in front of our own crowd and our own fans and get a chance to play Omaha and St. Thomas, who are two very good teams.
Coach, how important was it to pull the 5-set out against Oral Roberts, to just even for your own emotional well-being, to come home and not feel like you went 0-2 on your first swing?
Yeah, I think for the team, it's just awesome to see them battling together and staying connected in those really tough moments. We had a really strong first set, and then Oral Roberts really turned it up and started to compete against us, and they were pretty dominant in the fourth, and our ability to fight back in the fifth and to take it in extra points is a credit to the grind and the grit that our team has. We've played 2 5-set matches, and both of those 5-set matches have gone extra points, and both times we pulled it out. And so that's a credit to our team staying together in those really tough moments and grinding and working through all of the mud that they might be in those seconds.
So you mentioned the bumps and the bruises. Players you might expect back this weekend, or do you have to test out your depth a little bit?
I think that's something that we talk about all the time, is that we've got 18 players on this team that can contribute at a really high level. And so those that aren't able to play at the moment, we're looking to get them healthy and get them back as soon as we can. But we also know that we've got a team full of athletes that are able to come in and perform at a really high level. And I think we saw Skylar do that, starting as our libero this weekend. We saw Maddie Lepetsky come in, who was a middle blocker for us last year and came in as a back row player and had 15 digs in 5 sets against Oral Roberts, which is a career for her. And just the ability to move some other pieces around. McAllister Gale and Paige Barber have been playing on the right and the left respectively, and we actually flipped them in the Oral Roberts match. And Paige careered in a position that she'd never actually played before in a match. And so it's really cool to see the versatility of all the athletes that we have on our roster and their ability to perform in a lot of different areas for us.
Can you kind of quick preview the weekend, the home weekend? What are your matchups look like there?
Yeah, so we've got Omaha Thursday night at 7, and Omaha, they lost to Kansas City in 5, and then they turned around and they beat South Dakota in 4. They played a pretty gnarly non-conference schedule. I believe they went 1-10 in their non-conference, but 10 of their 11 opponents were in the top 50. So it's really hard to gauge kind of where they're at and how strong they are, but we know historically they've been a really good program for the last few years. And so they're going to come in here and they're going to give us a run for our money. And they play a really fast style of volleyball, which is going to be really fun because so do we. We're probably the 2 fastest teams offensively in the conference. And so you're going to see 2 teams that are going to score a lot, but also going to know how to play against each other because they're used to it. And then we're going to play St. Thomas on Friday. And St. Thomas is having a fantastic year, probably their best year so far at the Division I level, which is now, I believe, year 3 or 4 for them at this level. But they've been doing really well and had a really nice 5-set win against Northern Illinois the last weekend of non-conference play. And so it'll be fun to go play them and see what it's like as they continue to evolve and grow into their play at the Division I level.
Oh, sorry. I'm not trying to strangle you here. When you open up the home conference schedule, is that almost like unlocking another part of your season that you've been anticipating?
Yeah, I think for our team, we're really excited to sleep in our own beds the night before a match and to eat some good home cooking, and but also to know, hey, we have a phenomenal crowd support from our community, and the ability to play in front of people that are cheering for us rather than against us is always a big advantage, as well as just being comfortable with our own home gym. And we know where that spot is on the floor that we like to serve from. We know when we're playing defense where we want to stand and what we want to do, and so having that level of comfort is always going to add an extra little advantage to our team.
Tegan Timperley had the service ace on match point on Saturday. She obviously was serving tough. I think she would, 4 in the game, I think, or in the match. So, and then also conversely, service errors. Is that kind of the devil in the details? Like you in order to serve tough, you're kind of risking a little risk reward sometimes. You might have a few service errors, but you also might have glory as well, like you saw on Saturday. Is that kind of where you're at as a service side of things up for your team?
We try to be really mindful of being really aggressive with our serving while still trying to serve in quite a bit. And so one of the things we talked about is that there has to be an acceptable rate of error for the skills. If we served every single ball on the court, that wouldn't help us, because then we're going to be serving so lightly that the other team's able to side out at a really high level. And so we aim to get about 10% error with our serving, or if we're thinking of aces and arrows, about a 1-to-1 ratio, which is what we saw in our match. But we also know that when teams play us, it turns out that teams serve way tougher than they do against other opponents, because we score a ton in serve receive with our offense. And so we actually have found that, for instance, in the Devon match and the Oral Roberts match, teams are erring at a much higher rate against us because they're also trying to serve way more aggressively to keep us out of system. And so finding the balance of the ability to serve in but also to serve tough is always an interesting one. But Tegan's done a really nice job this year. She's leading our team in aces. She's top 10 in the conference in aces as well. And so it's really nice to see her as well as all of our team go out there and be aggressive from the service line while still picking and choosing their spots of when do I have to get it in and when can I really put some pressure on people.